WebSphere Application Server is a software product that performs the role of a web application server. More specifically, it is a software framework and middleware that hosts Java-based web applications. It is the flagship product within IBM's WebSphere software suite. It was initially created by Donald Ferguson, who later became CTO of software for Dell, and the first version was launched in 1998. Architecture: WAS is built using open standards such as Java EE, XML, and web services. It is supported on the following platforms: Windows, AIX, Linux, Solaris, IBM I and ZOS. Beginning with version 6.1 and now into version 8.5, the open standards specifications are aligned and common across all the platforms. Platform exploitation, to the extent it takes place, is done below the open standards specification line. It works with a number of web servers including Apache HTTP Server, Netscape Enterprise Server, Microsoft Internet Information Services, IBM HTTP Server for i5/OS, IBM HTTP Server for ZOS, and IBM HTTP Server for AIX. Microsoft Windows Solaris. It uses port 9060 for connection as the default administration port and port 9080 as the default website publication port. In case you install more WebSphere instances, these values will be changed. Version history: IBM has shipped several versions and editions of WebSphere Application Server. In the first beta versions, WebSphere had been called Servlet Express. Although the versioning scheme X1 and X5 would usually indicate a minor release in the software industry, WebSphere v6.1 and v5.1 are major releases, just like WebSphere v8.5 and v3.5. Version 8.5.5, WebSphere Application Server v8.5.5 includes significant enhancements to the Liberty profile compared to v8.5. The WebSphere Application Server Liberty Core Edition leverages the lightweight and dynamic aspects of the Liberty profile. Version 8.5, WebSphere Application Server v8.5 offers the same Java EE6 and Java SE6 as v8.0 and also provides, and can be configured to run on, Java SE7. The primary new capabilities in v8.5 are the Liberty profile of the WebSphere Application Server and the intelligent management features. The Liberty profile of the WebSphere Application Server is included with all the commercial editions of the server, providing a lightweight profile of the server for web, mobile and OSCE applications. It is a functional subset of the full profile of the WebSphere Application Server, for both development and production use, with an install size of under 50 megabytes, a startup time of around 3 seconds and a new XML-based server configuration which can be treated as a development artifact to aid developer productivity. Server capabilities are engaged through the set of features defined in the server configuration. Features are added and removed dynamically through internal use of OSCE services. A new model is provided for moving applications through the pipeline from development to production as a packaged server. This is a complete archive of the server, server configuration and application for unzip deploy. A centralized managed install is optionally available through the Job Manager component of WebSphere Application Server Network Deployment Edition. Intelligent management capability is added in the Network Deployment and ZOS editions of WebSphere Application Server. This integrates operational features that were previously available in the separate WebSphere Virtual Enterprise offering, application editioning, server health management, dynamic clustering and intelligent routing. Version 7.0, this version was released on September 9, 2008. It is a Java EE5 compliant application server. Following are the flagship features introduced by WebSphere Application Server version 7. Flexible management. Flexible management facilitates administration of a large number of WebSphere Application Server Base Edition and network deployment topologies that might be geographically distributed. Business Level Application. Business Level Application is used for managing application artifacts independent of packaging or programming models. Property-based configuration. The property-based configuration feature simplifies the experience of automating administration, An administrator can update the WebSphere Application Server version 7 configuration using a simple property file. Between the general availability of WebSphere Application Server v7 and WebSphere Application Server v8, a number of additional capabilities were made available for v7 in the form of feature packs which are optionally added to a v7 install. Feature pack content has the same quality and support as main release content. The purpose of a feature pack is to deliver new innovation before the next major release. The following feature packs were provided for WebSphere Application Server v7, Feature Pack for Modern Batch, Feature Pack for OSCE Applications and JPA 2.0, Feature Pack for SCA, Feature Packs for Web 2.0 and Mobile, Feature Pack for XML, Feature Pack for Communication-Enabled Applications, version 6.1. This version was released on June 30, 2006. On September 11, 2012, IBM extended the end of service for v6.1 by a full year, to September 30, 2013, and announced new version-to-version migration incentives and assistance. It is a Java EE 1.4 compliant application server and includes the following function: support for Java Standard Edition 1.5, support for running JS 168 portlets in the application server, session initiation protocol servlets, enhancements to the WebSphere install factory, IBM Support Assistant, IBM JSF widget library, simplified administration, improved certificate and key management, security enhancements, administration of IBM HTTP server from WebSphere admin console, support for WS Security 1.0, support for Web Services Resource Framework and WS Business Activity, support for JS 160 JMX remote connections, administrative console and command assistance, enhanced scripting. This version started the deprecation process for the JACL syntax. 64-bit servants and a new Apache-based IBM HTTP server for ZOS, support for the EJB 3.0 technology and support for some Web Services standards were provided by the EJB Feature Pack and the Web Services Feature Packs, respectively. These function in these feature packs has been folded into the main product in version 7. Functions in the Web Services Feature Pack include asynchronous programming model, multiple payload structures, STX, WSRM, support for WS Security 1.0. WS addressing, JAXB support, policy set, secured thin client, SOAP message transmission optimization mechanism, supports CGI and CORBA, version 6.0. This version was released on December 31, 2004. It is a Java EE 1.4 compliant application server. Security enhancements include support for JACC 1.0 and WS Security 1.0. Support for Java Standard Edition 1.4, Community Edition, code based on Apache Geronimo project. Many programming model extensions previously found in WebSphere Application Server v5.0 Enterprise Edition were moved out of Enterprise and into Express and Base. These APIs included Application Profile, Startup Beans, the Scheduler, and Async Beans. The JMS engine, now called WebSphere Platform Messaging, was rewritten in 100% Java and its functionality greatly enhanced. The clustering was rewritten to use the High Availability Manager. This manages all singletons in the WebSphere environment and can provide hot recovery for those singletons. WebSphere was modified so that a shared file system can be used to store transaction logs, and this meant that any cluster member with that shared file system mounted can hot recover .exe transactions with no external HA software. The deployment manager's role was eliminated from all clustering runtime operations. It's only required for centralized JMX admin and config changes. Now supports running mixed version cells in production. WebSphere Application Server for ZOS provides the same core functionality as network deployment, since it shares a common programming model, but still contains the platform advantages such as ZOS Workload Manager for prioritized management of mixed workloads, resource recovery services, support for security mainframe products such as RACF, advanced vertical scaling for application server by featuring a unique control region server region separation which enables the control region to open and close server regions as needed by the volume of incoming requests, parallel Sysplex support for full participation in the Sysplex, enabling advanced failover support and a geographically dispersed environment that seamlessly acts as one with a centralized logging and management facility. WASXD as it is known increases the functionality of the application server in two main areas, manageability and performance. It also makes possible new configurations, such as dynamic virtualization between pools of application servers. Under the performance header the object grid component was added, which is a standalone distributed cache that can be used with any application server or with any J2SE 1.4 runtime, including Z-Linux and ZOS support. With version 6, some of the functionality previously found in WebSphere Business Integration Server Foundation moved into the new IBM WebSphere Process Server. Other function moved into the other editions. Version 5.1. This version was released on January 16, 2004. It is a J2EE 1.4 compliant application server. Express, base, network deployment, WebSphere application server for ZOS, version 5.1 for ZOS is the first to support ZAAP engines. WebSphere Business Integration Server Foundation v5.1. This is the follow-on product to WebSphere Application Server Enterprise Edition v5.0. The workflow engine was updated to support BPEL rather than the proprietary FDML format used in v5.0. The product was also repriced and available on all IBM platforms from the Intel environments to the mainframe. WebSphere Extended Deployment, version 5.0, the version released on November 19, 2002. This was a J2EE 1.3 certified application server. It was a major rewrite of the v3 per Volt 4 code base and was the first time WebSphere application server was coded from a common code base. Now WAS across all deployment platforms, from Intel x86 to the mainframe, are substantially the same code. The database-based configuration repository was replaced with the replication XML file-based configuration repository. A service called the Deployment Manager had the master copy of the cell configuration, and nodes had the file S they needed copied from this master server whenever they changed. v5 also included a miniature version of MQ5.3 called the Embedded Java Message Service Server. Express Edition replaces the Standard Edition. Express now becomes the term to indicate SME-oriented offerings from IBM, across all its software brands. Base, network deployment. This version supports deployment of a cell configuration with cluster and J2EE failover support. It now also includes Edge components, previously known as Edge Server. This provides a proxy server, load balancing, and content-based routing. Enterprise Edition. This version added a workflow engine, called the Process Choreographer, for the first time but predates the BPEL standard. It also added the first fully supported application threading model called WebSphere Asynchronous Beans. WebSphere Application Server for ZOS. This version is essentially the same as the network deployment product but is optimized to take full advantage of ZOS features, such as Workload Manager, to leverage the key technologies that make the mainframe indispensable for mission-critical, scalable, and secure workloads. Version 4.0. This was a J2EE 1.2 certified application server. It inherited the database-based configuration model from v3x for all but the single server edition, which already used an XML data store. AES. Single server edition that was not able to run in a cluster configuration. ID. Functionally equivalent to AES, but intended only for non-production development use. EE, version 3.5. WebSphere 3.5 is the first widely used version of WebSphere. Version 2.0, IBM adds Java Bean, CORBA and Linux support. Comes in two editions, Standard Edition and Advanced Edition. Version 1.0, initial release in June, 1998. was primarily a Java servlet engine. Security. The WebSphere application server security model is based on the services provided in the operating system and the Java EE security model. WebSphere application server provides implementations of user authentication and authorization mechanisms, providing support for various user registries, local operating system user registry, LDAP user registry, federated user registry, custom user registry. The authentication mechanisms supported by WebSphere are lightweight third-party authentication, see also IBM HTTP Server, Java, Z-Series Application Assist Processor ZAAP, IBM Rational Application Developer, IBM Rational Business Developer, Java EE version history, other Java EE application servers, comparison of application servers, Apache Geronimo Tomcat, Glassfish, JBoss SAS, SAP NetWeaver Application Server, WebLogic Server, References. External links, WebSphere Software Brand Site, Global WebSphere Community, Jerry Cuomo's blog. The WebSphere's CTO provides insights into the directions of the WebSphere team.